Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys a video game review video. Now, it's Persona 5. Let's just get it off the bat. This is Persona 5, ladies and gentlemen. Persona 5 is a wonderful, wonderful RPG-style game. It has a beautiful color palette, cartoon epithet. It's got so much going for it with the mix between anime, cartoon, almost sim playing style. You know what I mean? Like that day-to-day lifestyle. But also having the action, the storyline, the character development. It's an amazing game. Now, I know that this game review comes very late. I know the game is over a year old, so to speak, maybe two. But I spent my time finally platinuming the game for the PS4. Now, and I know that my channel, I have not been uploading much in the way of gaming content. Simply old content from my old channel. But better late than never. Let's just get into it. This will not be a very long review because anybody who is interested in this game has already played it, probably beaten it. And the hype has died down for Persona because Persona 5 is a few years old, as I said. But I just want to talk about it for a brief moment. After platinuming the game, after playing through the game twice, and really getting into the heads of the characters. I heard there was an anime that was trash, but I have not watched it and have no desire to. So, Persona 5. Gameplay, wonderful. Wonderful gameplay. Honestly, the only issue that I personally have, that I would have liked to see, would have been a little more customization as far as the personas for the individual characters. I understand this is a huge plot point, that the main character, Joker, is the one with the ability to obtain multiple personas. Though he has an affinity for the Fool persona, he can span a massive of over 100 different personas, 100 different masks. And that is not typical. He is atypical. So, I understand this. However, the fact that they could evolve, I just kind of wish that I would have had a little more role to play in Ryuji and Yusuke's. I would have really enjoyed being able to mold them in a slightly different path, just a little more customization. If they are only allowed one persona with one element affinity, I understand they get more moves and such, as I have platinumed the game and maxed out stats multiple times. I just was hoping for a little more because it felt like to me after a certain point it was all about me, the main character, even though this is a very Final Fantasy Party of Four style thing. It felt like really these were here for support and I was the main force. And still, story-wise, once again, was great and the reasonings behind this, but I feel like it could have been tweaked just to make it a little more relevant. If you spent your time to develop your companions' personas, they could be a reckoning fighting force. Now, not to say that they weren't, but that's just something I feel about. But once again, gameplay was 10 out of 10. The ease of use, introductions made it simple to understand. A couple of YouTube videos later about a mechanic you might not get, and you'll be off to the races. I found it very easy to grasp the concept, which is good because a lot of games nowadays feel like such a chore to get into. For example, I feel the need, now that I have a free copy of Final Fantasy 15, I feel like I am going to be jumping into something that is going to be wow. And I am going to spend the first weekend just trying to understand the game. As someone who has played multiple Final Fantasies, it feels irrelevant when you jump into such a big game. So I love the ease of accessibility in Persona 5 as far as gameplay goes. Once again, story, can't praise it enough. A couple of flaws here and there. But overall, the story was sound. It was good. I found myself intrigued by the different concepts. Some plot threads falling a little to the wayside. I wish they had been expanded on. There are quite a few very high school drama, manga feels to. We had a beach episode, a school trip, that kind of stuff. A festival. We had all those things. But I found the story itself to be very intriguing, very intricate, and I found myself really immersed with a lot of the different characters. The story itself progresses very, very linear in a sense that you find bad guys, you make them turn good and repent for their crimes, and that's the core mechanic of the game. And that does not change for the most part. The thing that I found more intriguing than the overall story was the interactions with the characters, the personal stories of each characters. Sojiro, Anne, Ryuji, all these different characters, Morgana, all these characters. These were things that I was just so enthralled with. Like usually, as a platinum hunter, and I have been out of practice for a long time, but generally speaking, if it's a game, even if it's a great game, if I don't care about a character, I'm just gonna, hit that skip button for the scenes and just get the trophies to start popping. If I'm not intrigued. But I listened to the voice acting. I didn't just read the text bubbles and hit X and skip, the voice. I found the voice acting quite well done, and I was enjoying listening to the emotions in their voice. The story kept me in that sense for all the characters. Some more so than others. And I felt like sometimes they introduced some characters just to make the game a little harder to get that gold trophy. But for the most part, the cast of characters was sound, relevant, and just made these little side stories part of the greater overall arc of what the story was trying to say. Now, that's gameplay and story. Music, I mean, I can still hum. I can be humming those tunes. Those tunes are wonderful. Now, the one thing for me that was missing was an actual song. I know that the main title screen song, but it's too, I get that they were going for that noir, jazzy feel, and even though I know the tune, I really do wish that there was an overall song played at hype moments. I mean, there was a song played at hype moments, but to me, it needed something. A little more oomph would have been good. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the soundtrack is 10 out of 10. And for the most part, it was great, but I felt like it could have been, you know what I mean? Like when you have that soundtrack of 11 tracks that are all great, but then you have that one bonus song from a feature video featuring, special artist, this sort of idea at the end of a soundtrack, and it's like, that's the better version, that's the opera version, the epic version, the one with the choir, something like that. I felt like that's the one thing the soundtrack lacked. Does not take away a point. 10 out of 10 sound. Liked it. As far as everything else goes, I mean, I think I covered everything. Voice cast was good. Gameplay, phenomenal. Story. The trophy list. The trophy list in this game is not bad. For the most part, it's more collecting, do all the side quests, max out all characters, max your stats, things, complete the Persona compendium, things like that. My issue with it is the time frame in which you have to do it. Because I love the game, but the game is super long and you cannot skip cutscenes. You can try to fast forward through them, but if you try to go through this game a second time, you need to sit down for more than a weekend. This is not something that you can just breeze through and get back to the level you were at. So if you miss, like I did, one library book for the Bookworm trophy, you have to play the whole game until you can read all the books again. It doesn't carry over in New Game Plus. Once again, certain ones, adding in the minigame ones to me was just an excuse to play the minigames. For example, I had no desire to do the fishing minigame. I felt like I was doing Big the Cat, trying to get Froggy in Sonic Adventure again, except with even worse mechanics. The only good fishing in a minigame in any game that I can recall is so far you have Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing, and Zelda. I'm probably missing out on a few, and some people down in the comments below will say, oh, well, what about this game and this thing, the mini game in this game? It was so great. Okay. But as far as just off the top of my head, usually mini games are there to annoy people. especially when trophies are tied to them. To be fair, the only other thing worse than minigame trophies is, of course, multiplayer online trophies. Get rid of them. They really ruin my platinums. Because what's the point? All the people are going to do, if they have the time, and sometimes I don't care, is going on a boosting thread forum, meet up with some people that aren't trolls, and then they all help each other out to get the trophy. Nobody actually gets 5 kills in a row, maybe a freak accident, kill 20 guys without taking a hit and stuff like that. And these stupid, Red Dead does it, the Xenoverse games, the only reason I did that, once again, boosting forums and my own friends who own the game. I didn't beat someone 7 times in endless battle. There are people who are so much better than me at those things. So, multiplayer trophies aside, minigame trophies are some of the ones that just, it doesn't show skill for the actual game. A trophy list is, if it's not meant to be a completionist, where, once again, I'm okay with do all the side quests, complete the Persona Compendium, make sure to max out all stats, max out all character, for as far as ranks, similar things like that. But to literally make you do a minigame, it's like the worst one I think was the Futaba lines. Listen to 250. That was just a grind that I put the game down for probably a week and a half. I played Minecraft. I literally was building walls, making trees in Minecraft, rather than do this, to grind for this trophy. They need to get rid of those type of trophies. That you can make the argument that these trophies sometimes this separates people who got the platinum suffered through this. No. A platinum trophy is not meant to mean that you grinded the longest, that you have less of a life than the next guy who actually has to take care of, the bills and go to work and stuff, and has a couple 3 sleepless nights. That's not the point of trophies. Trophies are to prove an accomplishment. So as much as I did not like the fishing minigame or the batting cage one, the worst trophy was the Futaba lines. Because grinding does not prove anything. It doesn't show skill. It shows you have more time on your hands than I do. That's all it's doing. So I always hate when you have grinding trophies to that level. Maxing stats is different, because there are always workarounds and fun ways to do it, and you can play through the game and progress and stuff, leveling a character to max, things like that. Those are going to be commonplace in all RPGs. Those should be expected. And most gamers who love a game, and Persona 5 is a game you should love, I have more level 100 Pokemon than I can count. So having, for examples, maxing stats like that, there's no issue there. That's an accomplishment. It's not an accomplishment to hear 250 lines in a game, especially when you are not awarded for this in-game. If there is no reward for doing this in-game, no unlockable, no secret cutscene, no nothing, for doing a grinding trophy to that level, it's a stupid trophy. So, suffice it to say, I did this trophy, and it was not as bad as some people, but when I realized that I had the opportunity, when we get a certain named character, and I've tried to keep this spoiler free, when we get a certain character, it's much easier because you get another set of lines that you can grind off. That's when I put the game down for a week and a half, and it was getting to a point in the story that I think is the highlight. Couldn't do it. Because I knew I had to grind now or never, otherwise I'd have to wait till New Game Plus. And I didn't feel like doing that. So, other than that, the trophy list was sound. I got the platinum. It does take over 100 hours easy. I think my time was 160 something hours. To be fair, I screw around a lot, so my time isn't the best time. You could probably do it easily under 150 hours if you stuck to the core and knew what you were doing from the get-go. I'm sure anybody who's played a Persona game before this would have a better time score than me. And it also depends on your grind. How long do you spend on your grind for the Futaba thing? And how good are you at fishing? How good are you at batting, playing baseball? So, things like that kind of bugged me. But suffice to say, got the platinum, everybody. So what did you think of the trophy list? What did you think of the game? I know this is really late and probably irrelevant. Probably get all of 5 views on this video. But once again, this is a manga anime channel, but it is also whatever I want it to be. It's my channel. If I feel like reviewing a game or doing a Let's Play, that's what we do here. So please like, subscribe, comment. It's always appreciated. This has been Griever. Once again, drink responsibly. See you back here next time.